What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and we're back with another basketball reaction, and this has been quite highly suggested, and it's creating an NBA GOAT pyramid. So I assume it's going to be like all the players in this video will be seen as like top class players, but I'm probably going to find out some new players that I've never seen before, that I've never heard of maybe. But yo, you guys wanted it, and I thought it actually sounded like a really fun sort of video to see. And it's one of those ones that's probably quite controversial because people's opinions vary, and that's what it is really. This isn't like a definitive video. This is like an opinion, but it's from like Jimmy High Roller, who does make good videos. So yeah, I probably won't take it like 100%, but I will look at this and it will sort of help gauge my opinion. But yo, you guys wanted it, and I'm just going to keep a short intro because I usually mumble way too much. Yo man, let's get into it. I'm excited for this because this guy's videos are class. But yo, let's just.
This is a basketball pyramid of greatness, and today we're gonna be.
Oh, so he's already showing the pyramid that he's made. From this, I want to see who I know. So I know the top two. I only know two people from tier 2, which is probably going to annoy people. Tier 3. I know one, which is Larry Bird. So a lot of these guys are actually, I'm not going to know half of these. Hopefully he tells me like during the video.
Making one.
I think this is his pyramid. Maybe it's not.
Now, the other day, while tuning into the always insightful Colin Cowherd, I watched as he elaborated on a segment regarding a basketball pyramid of greatness. You've probably seen similar charts. Players listed in a pyramid formation, the bottom of the
So it's not his.
containing the most players, the top containing the least, and the greatness of these players in ascending order. Just to even make this pyramid, a player must virtually be universally regarded as a top 50 player of all time, some of which are up for debate and opinion. So in this particular case, Colin was breaking down a pyramid with about 30 players. The top 30 players of all time, according to NBA Chemistry and Ballers Tribune on Instagram. Colin made a few of his own personal corrections to the pyramid, but overall, he agreed with it. And I somewhat agree with this pyramid as well. However, I think we can do better. So today, I'm going to create my own GOAT basketball pyramid, break down each and every player on my greatest pyramid, and elaborate on each pick as well. But before I do, we need a little bit of context here. Basketball pyramids are nothing new. At its basic form, they're just a visual representation.
Wait, so what's the first one? I just want to look at this. Ringless pyramid. I like how
basic form, they're just a visual
3-point.
representation.
Oh, so Curry's first for that. To be fair, his 3-point isn't. I know 3-pointers from what I've heard in commentary and videos. 3-pointers weren't as frequent like in the old school days, and like the new age, but the sort of the new era of like basketballers, so like Steph Curry. He was sort of like I don't know if he made it like popular or he was like sort of the one who just sort of brought it to like light. But I know he is known for his 3-pointers.
The greatest players of all time. Of course, according
as
to
coaches.
the person making the
I've never
pyramid.
done a coach video.
What makes this specific method of organizing a GOAT list a bit more practical than other methods is that rather than listing each player one after another, a pyramid formation allows you to create tiers or levels to greatness.
I like that actually.
For example, if two players are extremely close in greatness and you can't decide exactly who should be higher all time, you can just simply put them in the same tier.
That's sick.
Is Paul Pierce better than Gary Payton, or is Gary Payton greater than Paul Pierce? Well, that depends on who you ask. But you can certainly say that they belong on the same tier of greatness. The basketball greatness pyramid allows you to rank players all time without being so specific that you're forced to box players into a spot, while being just specific enough to put them in a fairly accurate and universal position all time.
I like that quite a lot actually, because I'm guessing it helps sort of like stop, because people get like, this is one of those things that people get personal about. Same with soccer, people get so personal about these sort of conversations. I've never seen the pyramid thing, and that's never been like, I've never seen that in soccer. But so I see this. This is the first time I've really seen the GOAT pyramid sort of like list thing. I really like it actually because it can help avoid sort of really like big arguments, because this is something that people.
Bill Simmons published the Book of Basketball, which featured his clear, concise, and respectable basketball pyramid. Within his book, Bill established the credentials on which he ranks these players, including NBA championships, regular season and playoff statistics, as well as longevity and flair. As a whole, a lot of things have changed since his original pyramid in 2009. But if you take a look at the top 40 players on Bill's basketball pyramid, not too much has shifted. Tim Duncan won another title, LeBron won 3 titles, 3 finals MVPs, and 2 more regular.
LeBron was 20th 10 years ago, so this is when he was 25. What?
season MVPs. Dwayne Wade won 2 more titles and Dirk won another title as well. You could almost say that this is an updated version of the NBA at 50, the 50 greatest players of all time back in 1996. At the time, this was the most reputable list to date. But that was 14 years before Bill published his list. And in that 14
I'll pause
years...
it. That's pretty sick. He was... Because Giannis is now 25, isn't he? The fact that Giannis is 25, where would he be ranked? Would he even be ranked yet? Or was LeBron such a freak of nature that he got there so early? Because seeing him that high up at 25 is crazy. And now I see in like the people's list, like the pyramid list now, he's like always near the top or at the top with Jordan. So yeah, I rated that a lot actually. I didn't realise he's been at the top for so long.
But as good as Bill's pyramid is, there's a few problems I have with it. Of course, this is
Oh, my laptop.
all my personal opinion, but first of all, Kobe is too low.
Yeah,
This was
I agree,
after
actually.
his second title run where he won 2 more rings, and he's still ranked just number 8 all time. Considering Bill Russell played in an era with
Rest in
only
peace, of
8
course.
to 10 teams, I think he's ranked a bit too high. An amazing player would dominate in any era, but personally, I probably wouldn't have him this high. Ori made it on the list at 84. He does have an immaculate postseason resume, which clearly plays a large role in his position on this list, but as a player, I don't really see him as a top 90 or even top 100 player of all time. But with that being said, I can understand why he falls where he does on this list.
It's all down to
considering the
opinions,
man was
man.
a big contributor to 7 titles. Chris Paul made it on the list after just 4 seasons in the NBA at number 90,
Wow.
which is extremely impressive. Now,
Wow.
there's a Reddit thread on this basketball pyramid back in 2017, and most fans agree that if you were to rewrite this pyramid at the time, Wade and Dirk would both make it into the top 25, Steph makes the list, and LeBron creeps up into the top 5. This pyramid is impressive because it has 96 players, and the formula in which Bill ranks these players is concise and consistent. Bill has a little bit of a hometown bias towards his Celtics, but other than that, it's pretty great. Another basketball pyramid, one that was more recent and the one that I featured at the beginning of this video, was a GOAT pyramid made by NBA Chemistry and Ballers Tribune on Instagram. Now, in their pyramid, they created 5 different tiers, with each tier signifying another level of greatness. I think this pyramid is decent, it's good, but in my personal opinion, it does have its flaws. Some of which I can't bring up without giving away my own pyramid, but a few things that I respectfully disagree with. Dirk is too high. I mean, he is a legend, but when you consider all things, and when you compare his resume and his accomplishments to some of the other guys on this list, I think he should be a bit lower than where he is. If Shaq is tier 2, then Duncan, Bird, and Kareem must be tier 2 as well. I do like how they have KD up there, although he still has a lot of basketball ahead of him. There,
I didn't even notice he was there.
His greatness.
Yo, so KD, I'm going to react to him very soon. I've been seeing him a lot recently. I didn't even realise he was there, but he must be like really, really... How long has he been in the NBA now? It must be like near to 10 years, maybe more. I'm not sure.
I think they have Vince Carter a little too high. I love what he's done for the game, all the amazing moments he has produced, but all things considered, he isn't as good as some of these other players. No MVPs, no scoring titles, no titles. And tier 1 doesn't look quite right, but we'll get to that here shortly. So here's the formula for my pyramid. So first of all, longevity is important, but personally I value a player's peak more than their longevity. Some players played for 15 plus seasons, but never made an all-star team. Others played for a decade and lit the league on fire
Okay, that
for
makes
a couple
sense.
seasons. I like to lean towards the players who reached the highest peak rather than the players who were the most consistent. Of course, both of these qualities are extremely important. You could say that my list is a combination of skill, accomplishments, and quality of career. Second, as much as I would like to make a list on pure basketball ability, there are other factors that come into play. For example, just considering a player's skill set and straight basketball talent, I would have a guy like Tracy McGrady in my all-time top 20 list. But of course, we have to consider things like accolades, rings, career numbers, accomplishments, and that's where T-Mac falls short and falls out of this list. For example,
I do find that interesting. Is that like the general basketball opinion, or is it just his opinion? Because in other sports, I feel like people look at longevity for like seeing like a GOAT, but then I guess saying that, like the top players, like LeBron, Kobe, Michael Jordan, etc. They were at the top for so long, so I guess they are longevity, and they had a peak at that longevity for such a long time, such a long period. So I can see there's a mixture of two as well.
Tracy McGrady was 77th all time, whereas Robert Parrish was ranked 59th all time. I'm sorry, but Robert Parrish was not a better basketball player than Tracy McGrady.
Okay.
But all things considered, you could say that he had a better career. The third thing is that for every player that you feel deserves a spot on this pyramid, that player must take the spot of another player. Far too often, I see all-time lists and people criticizing those lists, mentioning players that they think deserve a spot on that list. But at the same time, they can't elaborate on who exactly they should take that spot from. The fourth factor
It is just opinions,
one of
though.
the biggest flaws with creating all-time lists and charts is that era plays a tremendous role in a player's legacy and greatness, but there's no real way of quantifying that role. Take Fred VanVleet of the Toronto Raptors. Fred is a solid backup point guard in today's NBA. But in 1965, with the skill set that he has today, Fred VanVleet would be an all-NBA point guard. The
Wow.
game has evolved, nutrition and
That's
training
crazy.
methods are getting better and better every year. The average player in today's league is without a doubt better than the average player 40 to 50 years ago.
That is true.
But think
I
about
do
it
see
like
that.
this. Rather than considering who is flat out better, consider who was greater relative to their
Exactly.
competition.
That is one of those things that you do see. Like, you always get comparisons of people who are like from 30 years ago to comparisons to players now. I feel like the players now will obviously be better, but for the time they were at and where the sport was at, etc. You've got to put all the sort of things together. If that makes sense, you've got to put all circumstances together. And like you said, how they were in that era, how they were ranked, and how they were rated. I like how he's doing this. I do like this how he's doing it a lot, because it is one of those conversations that people like to compare players from so long ago.
Of course, it's not the only factor that matters, but it's an important one. And the fifth factor to consider is that I know people will disagree with this list, and that's perfectly fine. Regardless of how accurate a list may seem to some, it will always be inaccurate to others. I don't expect everyone to agree with my list, just as I don't agree with everybody else's list. In fact, I don't even think there's a way to accurately make a greatness pyramid. There are lists out there of the greatest players of all time created by former legends, current players, and established members of the basketball media, and even that list gets roasted and torn apart. You just can't please everyone. But that's
Exactly.
okay. In fact, I encourage y'all to share your pyramids in the comments below. And
Same
feel free
same underneath this one, because I'm new to the sport. I won't lie. When you guys know that anyway. But let me know what you guys think of this pyramid and who you would rank where, etc. So this does really interest me. Like, things to do with stats and to do with accomplishments, etc. They just I just like
tell us why you have yours
And learning.
arranged the way you do. So now that we've seen examples, we've broken down the rules, we've seen
see
the
it.
formula, let's get into this pyramid. Starting with my tier 5, we have John Havlicek. An OG Celtic, went 8 for 8 in the finals, 13-time NBA All-Star. Rest in peace to this
13.
legend. Next is Elgin Baylor,
13.
a player that doesn't really get a lot of mention these days, averaged over 38 points per game
What?
while actively serving in the military. Held the record
Oh,
for the
mate.
most points in an NBA game before Wilt surpassed him, and still holds the record for the most points in a finals game.
Bro.
Nate Robinson. Now, Robinson was a player that could do a lot of everything. Managed to lead the league in scoring, lead the league in blocks, lead the league in rebounds, won a Defensive Player of the Year award, won an MVP, and won 2 NBA titles.
Oh, wow.
Next is Bob Pettit. Another player that doesn't get the recognition he deserves, was part of the team that handed Bill Russell and the Celtics their only finals loss during that 60s dynasty. So here's something pretty crazy for those who aren't too familiar with Pettit. His career averages are 26 and 16 a game. The next player on tier 5.
Okay, that's nuts. When I hear 26 and 16, I'm guessing it means points scored and assists or blocks. I know it's one of those things. I'm not too sure whether it's just points scored, assists, or points scored and blocked, or etc. You know what I mean? But I do get that it's a pretty crazy stat, 100%.
A player that has earned the respect of
average
NBA
as
fans
well.
around the globe throughout his 21-year career. Definitely one of the best foreign players of all time. Next is Next is Allen Iverson.
This
One
guy.
of the most common phrases with Allen Iverson
He's
is
dribbling,
that
bro.
people say he's pound for pound the greatest basketball player ever.
For
And
real.
that may very well be true. Some NBA fans would argue that he deserves to be higher on this list, and I can definitely understand that, but having him at this spot puts him somewhere between top 25 and top 30 all time.
Dribbling wise.
Iverson is an example of a player that skill-wise could definitely
Okay, yeah,
fall
exactly.
a lot higher on this list, but because of his lack of hardware and longevity, falls where he does. Nonetheless, an incredible player. Next is Moses Malone. Won 3 league MVPs in a 5-year stretch and was arguably the best player in the NBA throughout that stretch. Jerry West, the logo himself, an NBA legend, phenomenal scorer, only has 1 ring, but with his 1-8 finals record, was 14 games away from having 9 rings. Of course,
Jeez, that's so
unfortunately,
unfortunate, bro. How unlucky do you have to be? That is awful.
It's not that simple, but this puts into perspective how close he was to many rings rather than just 1.
He could have been
In fact,
up in like
6 of
tier
those 8 finals
tier
losses
2,
were
tier
to that
3.
Celtics dynasty. Next,
If
we
it
have
was for
Charles
that.
Barkley. I don't think Charles' spot on this pyramid needs much of an explanation. Incredible player, MVP winner, would definitely be a lot higher if he had more playoff success. And rounding out tier 5 is Kevin Garnett. 15-time
This guy, yeah.
League MVP, one of the best defensive big men.
He was in the Dynasty, right? Is that who I'm thinking of? I think he was with the Celtics. There was 3 individual players. Like they came from. No, that's the Spurs. I don't know a video on this guy. What was it for? Was it the one who... Oh, he's the guy who spoke... Trash talked LeBron James, isn't he? This is the guy who... Yeah, okay, I get it. He's the one who trash talk. I done a video on that, when trash talking goes wrong.
Time and a 4-time rebounding leader. KG really set the stage for future, mobile, athletic stretch 4s. Now, before we continue, these players are in no particular order. As I stated before, one of the many perks to a basketball pyramid, as opposed to a numerical list, is that there is a lot of flexibility with these tiers. For example, you can make an argument that Allen Iverson was better than Charles Barkley, or that Jerry West was greater than Elgin Baylor, but the overall premise is that they are all within the same realm
Yeah, exactly.
of greatness.
I do like
As
that.
I said before, some of these players may be a low tier 5, others may be a high tier 5. But unfortunately, that's all we have time for today.
Oh, wow.
So be sure to tune
You
in
cheat.
tomorrow
Oh, there's a part 2, I get. I think there is. I'm going to have to watch it straight
for
after.
part 2 of our basketball GOAT pyramid. The stage is set, thousands of players to choose from, but only a handful will make it.
Shout out then. I'm going to do that straight after. So you're gonna... I'm sorry, I was going to do another baseball. Oh, no, not baseball. I think I'm going to do... Was it NASCAR today? NASCAR and basketball, but because there's a part 2, I'm going to do them both today because I like seeing videos through, if that makes sense. But yo, that was a crazy video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, like, subscribe, peace.